Why are ICE protesters being a better church than the church ever was? This is a text that I got from one of my friends, and I haven't stopped thinking about it since. And I have a couple of thoughts as a Bible scholar and progressive Christian. I think that the answer is quite simple. I think that protesters have faith and they embody that faith and let it move them towards action. Something that a lot of people don't know about the Bible is that when it talks about faith, it isn't talking about just believing that something is true. This misunderstanding leads to a lot of confusion around what it means to be a person of faith, because people think that they can just say, yeah, I think that's true, and then move on with their lives, and that's what faith is. And so then doubt becomes the enemy or the obstacle to faith. But based on what we know about ancient cultures, pistis, which means faith or faithfulness, and fides, which means faith in Latin, doesn't just mean belief. It means loyalty and allegiance. It's a virtue that is embodied and active. So in the New Testament, when people say to have faith, they don't just mean believe that this thing is true. They mean commit your life to this truth. Do something about it. If you think about pistis or fides or faithfulness in those terms, then the true enemy of faith doesn't become doubt, it becomes indifference and apathy. Therefore, protesters have a better understanding of what it means to have faith. Now, I'm not saying that they all have faith in God, but I do think they have faith in something that may be even more important than God, and that's the idea that all people are created equal and deserve human rights. It's a faith in humanity, it's a faith in justice. And they don't just believe that these things should be true. They don't just know in their heads cognitively that all people should have the same rights. No, they are ready to fight for it. They're ready to put their bodies on the line for that truth, which is what true faithfulness is according to the Bible. This is why you cannot have true faith and sit by and be silent, complicit, or apathetic about what is happening to your neighbor. If you actually have faith in God, and therefore you have faith that every person bears the image of God, then you are expected to put your bodies on the line to defend that truth. We see this represented in Christ, that he loved his faith too much to allow it to be weaponized. And so therefore, he put his life on the line for that truth. I see that sort of faithfulness in people like Renee Nicole Good, who put their lives on the line to make sure she was fighting for what she had faith in, that every person deserves to be treated equally because they are equally worth dignity, love, and justice. So I argued that those ICE protesters who disrupted a church service in Minnesota weren't disrupting a church service at all, but demonstrating what a church service should actually look like. They showed us what true embodied allegiance and loyalty looks like to the idea that every single person bears the image of God and therefore deserves justice and dignity.